Okay, fine.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to talk you about our decision to move to another user interface framework. And our decision, I'm talking about me, Giacomo, and Eduardo. Also, Filippo were the guys that are working at this. We discussed for alternatives in the past months and came to a decision, and now we want to hear also your opinion. So this is the presentation of this idea. I will talk about the past, the present, and the future of NethServer user interface. Sadly, I didn't hear Filippo's talk this morning because I was downstairs, but I have an idea of what he said to you because I saw his slides. So, what we have done so far, and what we have in NethServer from a more sysadmin point of view. The sysadmin can see about 15 modules in the software center and can pick what he likes and install with a single click. From a development point of view, we have about 120 RPMs. I counted this number by watching on GitHub repositories that start with NethServer something. And this we started about six years ago, this journey, and so this is what we have done so far. Let's see in detail what is the anatomy of the system. We can see three layers. The first is constituted by the upstream what we call the upstream distro that is CentOS. And on top of it, we have a configuration management layer. And this is the Smith library that we inherited from the NethServer project. And as the database of configuration and events, templates that write configuration files for individual applications, and the actions that are Perl, Python, Bash scripts that move the things. And I can call this a configuration management layer, a local configuration management layer. And it has been developed before the configuration management term has been invented. The third layer is the web user interface that we call Server Manager, and has been implemented with the NetGuy. One of an important characteristic of this layer architecture is that sorry, but the timer is that the layers can be replaced with alternative implementations. An example of it is, for instance, in 216, we replaced the first layer, the upstream distro, from CentOS 6 to CentOS 7. That are a very different implementation of the same thing. So we see how we can replace also the other layers. On the third layer, I see we have the Server Manager that we can access with port 980, and is constituted by the NetGuy framework which is implemented in PHP. NetGuide is an homemade framework. We developed it internally. I think I'm the only developer. It's not so famous. And its main characteristics are it is a PHP only programming. Even if it produces HTML and JavaScript for the client, the developer only writes PHP. That seems a good thing, but the other thing the developer had to cope with is it has strict rules. So the aim was produce a consistent user interface, a benefit for the user, a consistent, same behaviors, same clicks, same and similar forms. That is kind of ergonomy. But strict rules means also that if the developers want or needs to implement something different from what has been predicted by the framework developer, it falls in trouble. NetGuide framework runs over an Apache web server on module PHP, and it is a special Apache instance that runs with server as a dedicated server manager system user. So it is not HTTP standard instance on port 80, but it's another instance of Apache, and this constitutes a standard synchronous web stack, okay, where the client always starts the connection with a request, and the server responds. Then we have interfaces to invoke the Smith API that are Perl scripts, and sudo is the way how we escalate privilege from server manager to root level privilege. Okay. So by moving away from all of this, let's see a couple of case studies. The first is backup config. And Bogdan, in the past years, tried to develop this module. I'm talking about 215. And he falls in trouble with NetGuide. And one of the reasons was NetGuide at that time was lacking an upload file widget. A trivial thing, but it wasn't implemented. And also, he hadn't enough time to study our strict rules, so ended up with an implementation that wasn't compliant with the NetGuide standards, and cannot work in a core module. Because it wasn't too different from the other modules. This was a weakness. This is a weakness, not of the developer, not on the developer, on Bogdan's responsibility, but on a weakness of the framework that wasn't expressive enough to accomplish his needs, our needs. The second case study is the accounts provider module that originally was implemented on the developer's needs, And then came a lot of support requests, and need to clarify. We started by enhancing the documentation, but that wasn't enough. And after NethServer 7 was released, and in the spring, we finally delivered a wizard procedure. So lesson we learned from this case study are learning curve is too steep. And the second, people don't like to read the docs, but want guided procedures. The problem is that guided procedures are too difficult to implement, to develop on NetGuide, because it's another use case that hasn't been developed too much. So this is the NethServer mission. Yeah? It's the same? Okay. We can transpose this mission statement in the developer point of view. Yeah. If you want to make sysadmin and also user effective, we have to make developers' life easier. And the goal of it is we understand this is the most important goal, that is using standard tools, because if you keep on using an homemade framework, we think this is not possible. So let's start using standard tools documented and that may find developers that are reading also these tools. And we want to aim at a couple of things. Decrease the development times. You see the account provider example, and increase the number of developers. So point at these two targets. What you're doing now. These days, we look around and not at port 9090, and who's there? We find the cockpit. On port 9090, we have this beautiful thing that has been developed from the data team, and it's a software project, and is available with just yum install cockpit from upstream repositories, and this is a really good thing from our point of view and from our routes. And it's a project that is available also on other Linux distributions. This is important for the standard concept. And this will attract more and more developers. So, cockpit is also similar to a shell, a web shell. Is something that works on the web, but has the traits of a shell, like Bash, for instance. Because, for instance, you connect on port 9090, and there is a web server that spawns a user session with user privilege. The server is an embedded one. It's not an Apache instance like NetGuide. It's a special web server developed in C that is specific to the cockpit project. The server spawn the user session that is called the cockpit bridge, and messages flows from client to server and from server to client. This is different from a different architecture from what we have seen from the guy, where it was the client that requests and the server that responds. We have a two-way communication here. And with such thing, a better user interface can be built up upon it. And from the front end side, it uses Patternfly UI framework that is on the HTML and CSS layer. And for programming, we have to write in JavaScript, but we can use almost any JavaScript framework out there. Almost. We find ourselves comfortable with AngularJS because of previous projects of our company, and Eduardo is our expert here. And but Angular is a well-known framework, JavaScript framework developed from Google. So we hope. No, we are certain there are a lot of Angular programmers out there. Anyway, the framework is not important, but you can also write plain JavaScript, use jQuery and other frameworks. Well, I found some hurdles, and I think this is for Steph Yale that is scared by Cockpit. We are old-time programmers writing PHP, huge, but now the trend is on JavaScript. Well, it's time to learn JavaScript tools. And it's time also to learn asynchronous programming. So we have to study. But these things are quite common for a lot of developers in these days. So, why Cockpit? To summarize, we are aiming to standardization, and we are aiming to make developers work together and more developers. So different talents, different knowledges from on the front-end side and also on the system-level programming. And also, as bonus, Cockpit, for instance, has a nice multi-server interface that can be used to administrate different hosts from the same interface. This is an example, but also a lot of other modules that are already available from upstream repositories. For instance, yesterday Giacomo shows us the storage management module. Okay. And I'm very proud of Cockpit. I'm following this project since 2015, and at that time I answered on the Cockpit threading community with this, and I'm still convinced of it. Okay, so this is yesterday you have seen it in action. This is just one screenshot. We have some ideas on how to rearrange the things on this new technology, but are just ideas we want to discuss with other people. All the code is available on GitHub, already available on GitHub. And an RPM package can be installed from NethServer testing repository for the 7.4 release. Giacomo has prepared it for us. And now, what we do as an FSS team, but we hope the community will pick up this challenge. Write the docs about our prototype, share the code and ideas. Now we are doing it, and I'm curious of hear your feedback. You like it. Some ideas for the current NethServer 7 branch. We could start with embedding cockpit modules in the current NetGuy interface with an iframe. Cockpit allows it. So set up a kind of a reverse proxy that makes NetGuy communicate with cockpit behind the scenes. Develop new modules on cockpit because it has a lot of the new architecture is more flexible, and we already experimented. We find comfortable and achieve good modules in less time. We experimented it thanks to Eduardo. In the future of NethServer 7, we could switch to cockpit entirely if we reach a feature parity between the two interfaces. We reach it, I don't know, it's just an idea. And what could happen then on NethServer 8? This is our layered system. The upstream distro will be CentOS 8. Nobody knows when it will be available, but we can guess 18 months about forever to have CentOS 8. Then on the third layer, I'd like to see cockpit as server manager implementation. And on the configuration management layer, this would be the greatest challenge. Use Ansible in place of the Smith layer. I reasoned about it. Ansible could be shipped in Fedora server as a cockpit module to install and start playbooks directly from Ansible Galaxy if they go on with this idea. And so I can expect Ansible could be is by now a standard configuration management tool, but I can expect it will develop further by upstream, and especially I aim to make it good for a local playbook execution. That is not the common use case of Ansible. So that's all. If you have any question, I will be happy. It's late? Is it late? How many?
One question.
What time is it?
May I? 5 to 6 minutes. No, you're less.
Question?
Me?
Thank you. You're saying that you would like to replace the Smith layer with Ansible. You know, I'm a big fan of the Smith layer. Why do you think, if you have an idea, why do you think that Ansible could be a better choice about the Smith layer?
For the standardization, to attract more developers, because it's more attractive, I think, for developers that came from other experience. The Smith layer is typical of the NethServer and NethServer world. But outside these communities, nobody knows it. And okay, it can be learned easily, as Marcus can tell us. But I think that if you have a technology that is spread, is widespread, it has more strength.
Thank you.
They are almost equivalent, and I think it's possible also to have a backward compatibility with our current templates. But if you have Ansible as an engine, we can develop new templates with Ansible technologies, and also keep going with called the old templates from Ansible instead of from a paired script.
So, if I understand correctly, you're saying that as in version 7, you can mix the old net guide with the new cockpit framework. Do you think in version 8 we could mix part of the configuration manager with the old Smith layer and write something new with Ansible together, mix them together?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
I want to keep back compatibility.
Question?
I don't want to rewrite everything.
We are now making introductions. I guess you know that Davide is one of the main developers of NethServer, so he worked on the NetGuy alone from the beginning, writing a lot of code for 2 years, 1 year.
Almost a couple of years.
A couple of years alone. Okay.
It has been a great experience, but
Learning experience.
I learned a lot of lessons.
So, I have